Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we've made a team of players who were kicked out of their club and sent to the unemployment office. Goalkeeper, Mark Bosnich. Brought over by Man United at the age of 17, Australian Mark Bosnich spent 7 years with Aston Villa before returning to United, where he won a title. The arrival of Fabian Barthez saw the keeper displaced again, and this time he left for Chelsea, where he earned a then huge sum of £50,000 a week. However, Bosnich was known for his partying, and though he signed in January 2001, he didn't make his debut for the Blues until the beginning of the following campaign. He turned out just 5 times over the following year, and in September 2002, his faltering career was put out of his misery when he tested positive for cocaine. Chelsea immediately cancelled his contract, and Bosnich, just 30 at the time, would not play professionally again for another 6 years. During that time, Bosnich became a full-blown addict, gained 15 kilograms and spent around £2,000 a week on the substance. At one point during a major binge, he shot at his own father with an air rifle, thinking he was an intruder, and that incident inspired him to get clean at last. QPR allowed him to train with their squad, and in 2008 he made a return to football in his native Australia. Defender, Patrice Evra. A Champions League and 7 times title winner, Patrice Evra is one of the best fullbacks of the 21st century, despite having lost 4 European finals, more than any player in history. The defender could have lost another in 2017, but at the age of 35, he left Juventus in the January transfer window to join Marseille, a club rebuilding under Rudy Garcia. Evra helped the Olympians go unbeaten for the last 11 games of their Ligue 1 season, helping them to a 5th place finish, but the fairy tale was short-lived. In November, after 10 months at the Stade Velodrome, Evra was sent off before Marseille's Europa League match against Portuguese side Guimarães had even started. The supporters had apparently been insulting the Frenchman as he warmed up, and Evra had kicked a ball into the stand before deciding to let his feet do the talking, though not in the way his manager would have hoped. Marseille lost 1-0, and a week later, Evra's contract was terminated by mutual consent. The defender was also fined €10,000 and banned from UEFA competitions for the rest of the season. He's still without a club. Defender, Emir Spahic. Bosnia's most capped player of all time, above Edin Dzeko, who also is his cousin, Emir Spahic captained the national team for 10 years and, after being linked with a move to Arsenal in 2010, ended up playing for Sevilla, Anzi Mashakala alongside Willian and Samuel Eto'o and Bayer Leverkusen. A commanding centre-back, Spahic helped Leverkusen qualify for the Champions League 2 seasons in a row, and in March 2015, the International Centre of Sport Studies named him the best defender in Europe. However, just a single month later, Spahic's career disintegrated. Following a defeat to Bayern Munich in the DFB quarter-finals, during which the Bosnian suffered a knee injury, Spahic invited some of his friends to come into the changing rooms, but they were stopped by a security guard. Spahic was livid and attacked the guard, headbutting him and having to be restrained by other players and staff. Leverkusen immediately terminated his contract, and Spahic joined Hamburg for a free. He is now also without a club. Defender, Federico Ihnen. It takes a special performance to bring a player from the Argentinian 4th division to our attention at Football Daily, but Federico Ihnen put in just such a showing in the National Cup in 2017. Allende's side, Sporting Club Pacifico, faced Estudiantes, top-tier giants and 4 times Copa Libertadores winners, and the defender was given the daunting task of marking young forward Juan Otero. Pacifico surprisingly won the game 3-2, and Allende was invited for a radio interview to discuss his side's performance. But the Argentinian revealed that he had kept Otero quiet by taking a needle onto the pitch and poking the forward every time they came close. We know that the top division players don't like contact, and they don't like it if we play dirty, he said. Otero, meanwhile, said that he had told the linesman what was happening, but the official simply laughed. Ironically, Allende had been inspired by Carlos Bilardo, an Estudiantes legend who would later manage Argentina into the World Cup in 1986, and who had been known for jabbing opponents in his playing days in the 60s. Pacifico president Hector Moncada was livid at the player, claiming that Allende's behaviour detracted from their famous victory, and sacked him for his trouble. Defender, Ashley Cole. In any discussion of the best fullback since 2000, Ashley Cole has to figure prominently. The English defender came through Arsenal's academy and won the title twice with the Gunners, becoming an invincible in 2004. He then controversially switched to Chelsea and spent 8 years with the Blues, winning the league a third time as well as a Champions League in 2012. By the time he left in 2014, Cole was 33 and switched to Roma for a relaxing end to his playing career. Manager Rudy Garcia hoped the left-back would provide his side with some experience, but Cole was soon persona non grata, getting hooked at half-time in a Champions League game against Bayern with a score at 5-0. The match finished 7-1, and a month later Cole put in an even worse performance against Atalanta, but this time it wasn't Robin schooling him, but 34-year-old fullback Christian Raimondi, who was filling in on the wing. After 11 league appearances in a year and a half, the Giallorossi gave the veteran a boot with 6 months left on his contract. He has since joined LA Galaxy, where he earns a reported £6,000 a week. How the mighty have fallen. Midfielder Adam Johnson. By this point, everyone knows the story of Adam Johnson. The Englishman, who won the league with Manchester City in 2012, returned to his native northeast with Sunderland that summer and spent 4 seasons at the Stadium of Light. But in March 2015, Johnson was arrested on suspicion of sexual activity with a child, in his case a 15-year-old girl. He was charged on 3 counts, but inexplicably Sunderland allowed him to return to the team when he was released on bail. He played for the rest of the season, missing just 6 league games, and continued to be selected the following campaign. It was only in February 2016, when Johnson pleaded guilty at his trial, that Sunderland saw fit to terminate his contract. Johnson later claimed that he had admitted some of the crimes to Sunderland in May of 2015, meaning that the club had feigned ignorance for 9 months so they could keep selecting the winger. The player was given 6 years in prison, while Sunderland faced no consequences whatsoever. Midfielder Qing Cheng. The migration of ageing stars to the Chinese Super League has seen the division gain new press attention in recent years, and new pressures in its domestic players. Qing Cheng plays in the midfield for Shanghai Shenhua, and in 2017 lined up alongside Freddy Guarin and Carlos Tevez, aiming to win his club's first title since 1995. But in his game against Tianjin Quanzhan, Qin incurred the wrath of his club's hierarchy when he stamped on Axel Witsel during a tussle at a corner. The Chinese was sent off immediately, but Shenyuan were not content on leaving it there. The club president Wu Xiaoyi told press the extremely irrational behaviour of Qin Cheng has severely tarnished the image of this club, the football of Shanghai, and even Chinese football. Given Qin Cheng was shown a yellow card in his season opener, we intentionally warned him over his poor on-field behaviour. It's a flagrant violation of the club management. Qin was fined £35,000, had his wages withheld for the rest of the season, and was forced to train with the reserves. Shenyua said they would refuse any transfer offers for him and make him see out his contract in shame. And the league added their own punishment too, banning him for 6 months. Shenyua ended up finishing 11th out of 16. Midfielder Ashely Stanovich. In case you're wondering whether you should have heard of Ashely Stanovich, you shouldn't have. A graduate of Manchester City's academy, the midfielder was eligible to play for England, Croatia and Grenada, but was never called up for any of them. Instead, he ended up playing low-level football in Belgium and Ireland, with the highlight of his career acting as a body double for Thierry Henry in a Nike advert, before a spell at Sheffield United under Neil Warnock. Stanovich quickly earned himself a reputation as a troublemaker, having a loan move to Grimsby terminated after a string of indiscretions, including getting sent off after just 4 minutes in one game. However, the 26-year-old was given a chance by Isthmian League outfit Grays Athletic in 2006, but after a single appearance in the pre-season game, he was arrested for a part in an armed robbery. The crime had seen a security guard shot dead, and Grays promptly sacked Stanovich as he awaited trial. Unfortunately for them, the FA ruled that the club owed the player 5 months of wages, or £14,000, and said they would be banned if they didn't pay up. Stanovich was found guilty on conspiracy to rob and sentenced to 8 years in prison. Midfielder Hatem Ben Arfa. Regarded as one of France's brightest young stars when he joined Newcastle in 2010 at the age of 23, Hatem Ben Arfa had already won 5 titles with Lyon and Marseille. Undeniably talented, Ben Arfa was also a troublemaker, getting into fights with teammates from Djibril Cissé to Karim Benzema. In the northeast, the Frenchman was known as much for his injuries and attitude problems as his flashes of Messi-esque genius, and his best saw him produce just 5 goals and 5 assists in 26 league appearances. Tired of his ill discipline, under-fire coach Alan Pardew shipped the wide man off to Hull, where he played 8 times before simply leaving for France, without the permission of the club and without an explanation. Newcastle tore up the player's contract, but Ben Arfa wasn't done. He joined Nice on a free transfer and grabbed 17 goals and 6 assists in the league to make France's team of the season. He returned to the national team and got the big move he always craved, to PSG, where he promptly burnt all bridges yet again. Forward, Jason Hart. Jason Hart of the Evo Stick Division 1 North's Clitheroe FC may have never risen above semi-professional level, but he found himself on the back pages across the country back in 2015. The striker travelled with his side to a game against Mossley AFC, who were hosting a Ladies' Day, aiming to increase the size of their female fanbase. Clitheroe lost 4-1, but Hart stuck around for a few drinks after the game and befriended a supporter. Shortly afterwards, phone footage emerged of Hart and the woman having sex in the dugout after the game, with the forward still wearing his club tracksuit. The video went viral and Hart's girlfriend, who is also the mother of his 2 children, unsurprisingly kicked him out. Clitheroe's manager and chairwoman both condemned Hart's actions, saying he had brought the club into disrepute, and he was sacked. The player himself told press, "I'm full of regret. I'd had a couple of drinks, I was away from everyone and thought I was hidden." Seems like his main regret was getting caught. Forward, Eero Ihnen. At 6'5", Eero Ihnen is a man mountain, but he's actually the shortest man in his family, with his father a 6'10", former basketball player, and his brother 7 foot and a first-round draft pick for the Chicago Bulls. Ihnen, however, turned to football and got his break at AIK, where he scored 6 in 14 at the age of 23 and earned a €2 million move to Real Madrid. Ihnen featured for the club's Castilla side and was part of the senior team's Champions League squad in 14-15, though he never played. But after 1 season with Los Blancos, Ihnen had his contract cancelled, reportedly returning from summer overweight. Apparently, the striker, nicknamed the Tank, arrived at his first training session having packed on a whopping 18 kilograms. That's about a quarter of Leo Messi's weight. Ihnen saw the funny side and tweeted a picture of him with a fat filter on, and returned to Finland, where he has since won 15 caps for the national team. He's currently on loan at German 2nd Division side Dynamo Dresden. So thanks for watching, guys, hope you enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, why not watch this lovely video right here? And as always, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.